everyone. Sad news to report today. I'm Lisa Gibbons.
And I'm Mary Hart. When Michael Landon learned that he had inoperable cancer in April, he knew the odds were against him. But Landon was determined to put up the best fight he could. Today he lost that battle. Landon was 54.
I've been a lucky guy. Very lucky guy.
Since his news conference at his Malibu home last April, Michael Landon had been a model patient, fighting his inoperable cancer of the liver and pancreas as best he could and with dignity. Later that same day, he was interviewed by Good Morning America.
And I probably like to get angry, but I really can't. I don't think I've been dealt a very bad hand.
Landon had 9 children, from toddlers to a 42-year-old adopted son. He and third wife Cindy were longtime Malibu residents, and he was a guest on old friend and neighbor Johnny Carson's Tonight Show in May.
And Michael, I think you probably know by now how many millions of people and how many fans you have rooting for you. And if prayer helps at all, you got the prayers of everybody in the nation. Come back.
Despite tabloid headlines which Landon publicly denounced for their lack of truthfulness and taste, the actor did cooperate with Life magazine for an unusually candid interview. Life editor Brad Dara was overwhelmed by Landon's honesty and courage.
Tears came to his eyes. Then he explained that he was crying, not out of sorrow for himself, but out of love for the people that he cared about.
Thousands and thousands of letters and cards poured in for the man who spent almost 30 seasons on primetime television, while medical experts did everything they could for the ailing star. Through the entire ordeal, Michael Landon's high spirits were inspiring to fans and friends everywhere.
I've had a wonderful life. I have a lot of great friends. I have the greatest wife, best kids. Every one of them.
In one episode of his series Highway to Heaven, Landon featured children who had cancer. 2 months ago, some of those children got together to thank Landon for the inspiration he had given them. It's one aspect of a legacy of help and concern that marked his career.
Anyone who ever sat in front of a television set knows Michael Landon and his diverse accomplishments. Landon's career dates back to the 50s, and his popularity was both instant and long-lived. After 5 seasons as an angel on Highway to Heaven, 8 seasons as patriarch Charles Ingalls on Little House on the Prairie, and 14 seasons as the youngest Cartwright on Bonanza, Michael Landon became one of the most popular and one of the most successful TV stars in all of television history. The son of a Jewish father and Catholic mother, Landon was quite frank in discussing his unhappiness as the child of 2 incompatible parents. He depicted his upbringing in the 1984 TV movie Sam's Son.
All you care about is going to the movies.
Nothing wrong with liking the movies.
There is if you think you're going to be in them.
Early success as a javelin thrower led him to USC, and an injury led him to a screen test.
I never thought I was going to make it. I figured I'd throw the javelin in college 4 years, and then I'd go in the service, and hopefully I'd get in the Olympics, and then I'd decide after 8 years what I was going to do. But I never felt I was going to make it as an actor, because to me actors were tall and handsome and with great voices.
Help me, doctor, please!
Landon eked out a living in tiny film roles and leading parts in campy pictures like I Was a Teenage Werewolf. When he landed the role of Little Joe in Bonanza in 1959, one of TV's longest-running westerns, Landon's stardom began.
Yeah. Whose horse is that outside? Horse? Oh! Just belongs to a friend of mine. Came back with me. No. Girl.
He was the one receiving the fatherly advice from Lorne Greene, chasing the beautiful women and quick with his fists.
I was an insecure guy. I mean, all of a sudden I was a big star, and that's tough to handle because you don't know why. So therefore, when you're insecure and you're a star and don't know why, you tend to strike out and act like you think a star should act. And if you have any brains, you outgrow it.
Landon really came into his own when he produced and starred in Little House on the Prairie, based on the classic children's books. He also frequently wrote and directed episodes of this heartwarming family show.
Have you had lunch?
Uh-uh.
Me neither. How about if I make us a picnic and we go fishing?
Yeah, that sounds good, Laura.
Half pint to you, Pa.
Sounds good, half pint.
Highway to Heaven blended a spiritual theme of goodwill into a weekly entertainment series, and Landon and sidekick Victor French explored many noteworthy topics: the environment, international weapons trading, negative campaigning, and literacy.
We try to do as many shows as we can to encourage people to get off their butt, to read a book, to participate. Because it's an obligation when you make your living in this business to be that way.
He had fun in one episode spoofing Werewolf.
Jonathan?
Landon returned again and again to one special subject in Highway to Heaven.
I'm going to march you all back, and I'm going to put you all in your separate lanes, all right?
The disadvantaged and less fortunate were always welcome in a Landon series. Having dealt extensively with blindness on Little House, he turned to young cancer patients and the handicapped on Highway to Heaven.
Come on, I'm not like everybody else.
Oh, really? That's funny. I thought that's what you were trying to prove. That you were just like everybody else.
Michael Landon was famous within Hollywood for his loyalty toward production crew members and their loyalty to him. Some members of his staff had worked with him on various projects for over a quarter-century.
Everybody here is treated with respect regardless of what their job is, because they're very good at what their job is. And just because they're not paid as much as somebody else doesn't make them any less important as people.
In recent years, Landon hosted the American Dream Contest, in which youngsters worldwide got to film their fantasies, and made a TV movie starring Art Carney called Where Pigeons Go to Die, in which he took a small role himself. But it's as a Hollywood mover and shaker that Michael Landon will be best remembered.
What are you worried about, little brother? You ain't never had no trouble outrunning her.
He grew up before us as an actor, even more so as the creator of some very worthwhile television, and more than anything else, as a man of conviction and courage, a real star in the best sense of the word.
I've been a very, very lucky person in this business. I mean, if anybody would have ever told me when I was growing up that anything like this ever would have happened, I would never have believed it in a minute. No way.
Michael Landon once said he wanted people to laugh and cry, not just sit and stare at the TV. He thought viewers were hungry for shows with meaning and always tried to deliver them.